afternoon, sir.
Come in.
Aye, please.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, sir. Rishabh Trivedi.
Rishabh Trivedi.
Or is it-
Mr. Rishabh Trivedi, I was looking for you because you are from law side.
Yes,
Is
sir.
it?
Yes, sir.
And that too, he comes from the same reason. Because you are a very brilliant student of National School of Law.
Yes, sir.
I find that you have been working as a junior assistant in Khetan company with
Yes, sir.
1,25,000
Yes, sir.
salary. Why did you leave Khetan?
Sir, already I had the internal calling that I will join and I want to prepare for civil services. Then after 6 months, only to get the professional experience in corporate law firm.
Okay.
Then I left it.
But then I find you have done a very interesting subject, that is in investment law.
Yes, sir.
What is that investment law?
Sir, investment law, majorly, sir, if I tell my experience with investment law, it deals with from the perspective of international law. When a state or when two states enter into investment treaties, then one state has to take the or give the undertaking, then your investment will be saved in India. It will not be expropriated or nationalized. So there is a reciprocal promises to each other that your investment will be saved. So in the investment treaties, right now India has 82 bilateral investment treaties. So
With 82 countries.
yes, sir, with 82 countries, it is available on Ministry of Finance. So, sir, there is a stabilization contract. If I may deal with this subject deeply, so stabilization contract says that without any notice, knowledge, or consent with the countries or the companies of another nation which is investing in India or Indian company investing in other state, so your property will not be expropriated by Indians. Thank you, sir.
know the word tort
Yes.
and you know the arbitration, how they are different,
Tort and arbitration.
relationship,
So
if any.
these are two disciplines of law. Tort, if I may explain, it derived from the Latin word tortum, which means twisted. It is a kind of civil wrong which has not been defined anywhere in the,
That is definition.
And sir, arbitration concerns with the method of solving the dispute. So arbitration means that it is an alternative dispute resolution which happens outside the court.
But
Party,
both end in giving the compensation.
sir, it may happen, or there is a certain contracts laid down.
Both strive towards giving the compensation.
Sir,
But
it
what is
happens-
the basic difference?
Sir, basic difference, I would say it is a substantial law, that is tort, and is a procedural law, that is arbitration. Arbitration defines the method and mode of deciding the dispute, and tort, the essential principles of tort can be inserted while arguing the arbitration cases. So, sir, the essential difference is about the, I would say,
Arbitration, no, wrong, you are wrong. Arbitration is governed by Arbitration Act. Now in India, you cannot say ki
Sir, yes, sir.
One
Thank you,
is basic difference. One is arises out of contract, and another is beyond the contract.
Yes, sir.
There
This
should not
may
be any
Thank
contract.
you, sir. This may be the difference, sir.
That is the basic difference. Arbitration always there should be some contract. Only then you go for the compensation.
Yes, sir.
Tort there need not be any contract,
Yes.
but you go for the compensation.
Yes.
Both ends in the
Compensation.
and giving compensation. You may get or you may not get, depending on the merit of the case. But basic underlying thing is that there should be a
Yeah,
contract. In one, there should be a contract. In another, there need not be any.
it is codified, tort is not codified.
Not quoted.
What is the conciliation?
Sir, may I take a
What? Yeah.
Sir, the conciliation is still encoded in the Arbitration Concession Act 1996.
Very good.
It says that when parties come together with open and free mind to decide a case, and there is another party who assists in conciliation. So, if I may take an illustration that the conciliation in the Ayodhya title dispute,
No, that is mediation.
sir, it has also been decided that mediation conciliation principles.
Conciliation is codified in the Act.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
There is a
And
third
what about
chapter.
the adjudication?
Adjudication, sir.
Adjudication.
Sir, adjudication is a larger principle which says that your rights, liabilities, and interests can be decided. So it is a larger, broad principles.
Is there any legal basis for adjudicating any dispute?
Yes, sir. In the procedure laws, adjudication has been given. That is Civil Procedure Code or Criminal Procedure Code. So, sir, what I mean to say, adjudication is a larger, broad principles which talks about the adjudication, or I would say the dispute resolution method of right, title, interest
When
of
you
a
go for
party.
the arbitration or conciliation, you have a statute.
Yes,
You are governed by the statute,
Yes.
procedure, everything.
yes.
But what about the adjudication? Is there any codified thing? Adjudication, can you draw anything, any strength from any statute? This adjudication, what comes in the contract? But can you find any legal basis to invoke any procedure, to get any procedures to decide?
Civil procedure code.
Yes, sir. I mentioned civil procedure code talks about adjudication methods, right from initiation or admission of cases till the final dispute resolution.
Now coming to this climate change scenario we talk about,
Yes.
is there any this legal fraternity, whole, judges, lawyers, everybody who are there in that, has any role to play with in combating the climate change?
Yes, sir. So Indian judiciary has played a robust role when we talk about environmental adjudication cases. Sir, if I may take the particular examples, there was a case of RLEK. So there was a rural land entitlement Kendra of Dehradun, sir. So, sir, it was there was a limestone mining and quarrying was taking place. So, in that judgment, by following the principle of sustainable development and intergenerational equity, Supreme Court has prohibited the mining. So, sir, there are laws, Environment Protection Act, which was convened or which was enacted after the Bhopal gas tragedy. And, sir, there have been various conventions internationally also, and various laws and rules are formulated to decide the environmental cases. So, therefore, sir,
You just say, last polluter pays principle has come out from Supreme Court judgment. This
Yes,
is the
sir.
last.
Yes.
This you say, don't go confuse that.
yes, sir. So, sir, there are various principles: polluter pay principle, precautionary principles, sustainable development principles, which are also enshrined in the NGT Act under Section 14. So, tribunals like NGT and Supreme Court, they take these principles into account to decide the environment.
Green Tribunal has also come out of this also.
Yes, sir.
Green Tribunal,
Yes, sir.
this has come only
That
out
is
of
a great
this.
NGT.
Yeah. Now I will come to the last domain. I will not ask you much question. You come from
Sir,
Banda.
Banda.
district.
What Banda is famous for?
So, the first thing which comes in my mind about my home district is about the Sajar stone. Sajar stone.
Other than this stone building,
Sir, other than this stone is about the forts of Kalinjar. So, it was a
other than that,
No, forts of Kalinjar not there in Banda. It is
Sir,
in Patna.
Sir, Kalinjar fall in the mandal of Banda, Chitrakoot
all.
mandal.
have you not lived in Banda district?
No, you have not lived.
Sir, I was studying in Kanpur, but my parents sent me away from Banda.
It's not away from, Banda is not very far away from Kanpur.
Yes, sir.
How far it is?
So the sir 150 kilometer. Also.
It's not 150 kilometers today. One start bike, you reach 2 hours.
Yes, sir. Sir, if I may still try to answer the question, the other thing which is famous about Banda is a fort.
Other than that,
Bhura
cultural area, religious area.
Sir, it is said, sir, or it is perceived that Sant Tulsidas
Yes.
hails from Banda. He wrote Ramcharit
is
Manas.
perceived or he was born there?
Sir, there is a dispute whether he is from, just like Rasgulla from, whether from.
No. Are you being from Banda?
So who the other people claiming the birthplace of
Chitrakoot, sir. Chitrakoot is claiming.
Chitrakoot is
not
part
all.
of which district?
Arey, not at all. This is wrong. He was born in Rajapur and Chitrakoot is very close by.
Yes.
It is 20 kilometers from there, Rajapur. So you don't say this because it's 20 kilometers, and then the controversy is that he was born in some other place, very Sukar, some other place.
Not
But the thing is, since you come now, it is not in Banda district.
What is the dialect of Banda
Now it
district?
falls within Karvi,
It's a Bundelkhandi.
Chitrakoot.
But he wrote Ramcharit Manas in which language?
Yes, sir. It is at Pachmel Khichdi he used, Avdi, Bundelkhandi, Purvanchali, and even Khadi Boli also. So Ramcharit Manas is a mixed.
No, it's Avdi proper. Words
Not
have come.
Yes, sir. Pachmel Khichdi it is said. So there is a
What is what?
Pachmel,
પાંચ language.
Panch Khichdi.
Yes.
ऐसे तो हो ही जाता है. Incidentally, the language has come.
Sir, languages influence each other.
He went to Ayodhya,
But mainly it is said to be written in.
Avdi.
Avdi.
You can't say about this. Khichdi.
Pachmel. Sir, I
You are
will.
very
can
thorough in
qualify
law,
it, but
but
your
you have to be
answers should
thorough
be
in other subjects.
Who?
I mean, you are very thorough in law, but you have to be thorough in other things also.
You can't, you
हाँ,
are not.
बाना में बहुत गड़बड़ी हो गया
The
आपका।
moment they say that you know this, then they will ask you the other question. So you must know about what other things you know about Tulsidas. Can you narrate any anecdotes related to Tulsidas?
Sir, may I take the time
हाँ.
to formulate?
Short, 1 minute, less than 1 minute.
Sir, Hanuman Chalisa was composed by him. When it is said that Akbar has incarcerated him in a jail, so in order to after he has wrote the Hanuman Chalisa, many monkeys has attacked his jail.
No, this is wrong.
So it may be wrong, but it is a sir.
No, this is completely wrong. He wrote Hanuman Chalisa when he was coming back from this pilgrims and was bathing in Haridwar. Akbar had visited his place and awarded 99 acres of land to their family. They are still surviving on that. So Akbar was very, very fancy about it.
What age he started writing Ramcharitmanas?
Yes, sir.
What age he started writing Ramcharitmanas?
So that I do not.
You don't know when he started.
Uh,
How many years it took to write the Ramcharitmanas?
so that I do not.
Don't know anything.
1 year, 9
You
months.
must know about the
Yes,
Tulsidas.
sir.
You come from the
Ah.
place, and he has revolutionized our thinking.
Yes.
Our Hindi poetry, he is one of the greatest poet.
It's a vocabulary. His
Akbar
Ramcharitmanas is
was
vocabulary
born.
of Hindi.
Yes, sir.
His Ramcharitmanas is a vocabulary of Hindi, dictionary of Hindi.
Yes.
Ramcharitmanas is very, very important.
चलिए सर.
That has influenced the Indian psyche. Okay, then I end here because she has also to.
I think we just had a good example of why so many cases are still pending in courts.
Yes.
When we have a lawyer in the room, it turns to be unending argument. I was watching very carefully. When we see usual candidates for civil services, they show in their def they are head boys or they've been sports leaders. They have done some initiatives of controlling team or other things. All your list here is and the way you have argued. I was very impressed the way you've been arguing.
Thank you, sir.
In the very few months, the moment you entered college, you filed that petition in Jodhpur High Court.
Yes.
You've written research papers, you've done diploma in University of Lisbon. You come to me, as a scholar rather than a civil servant. Let me boost your ego. If you have that deep interest where your hobbies are to read Supreme Court judgment, I mean, that is part of your curriculum, I suppose. You're so grounded in what you're studying. You're one of the rare candidates who chose optional papers same as your degree was. You will be wasted in civil services. Is it home pressure or peer pressure or why you want to be civil servant?
This is, sir, out of my volition. It may create the impression that I am so much involved in law. However, sir, law provides a good intersection between policies because it is said that policy precedes the law. So when I am having
Law is also a profession that makes best and effective politicians.
Yes, sir, it does, sir. There have been many politicians which I am influenced
Exactly.
that they are from the legal background. However, sir, civil service has always impressed me. Reason being, if I may, sir, give the examples currently, that whenever we get the order from the judiciary side, ultimately executive has to implement it. So how they implement it is still a
Today's
fascinating.
headline says administration is not listening to high courts or courts.
It happens, sir. Yes, sir, it does. Because, sir, even when I filed the PIL, it was...
So we need good administrators or we need good lawyers?
Sir, we need both, sir, so that the constitution is ultimately served.
Very
Because we cannot have, we should have best of every world, because that is how India will progress. So, sir, as far as the first question is concerned, that why I am wasting my talent being in the law, I would say that I would be using my competence, which I have gained from the legal knowledge, which I have gained from my college, as well as from my experience in the administration, sir. Because sir,
Your first 10 years will be posting in Eastern Siong district of Arunachal Pradesh, dealing with local Kuki tribes. What this law will do?
sir, laws are there, sir, even to govern that place, just like 5th schedule and 6th schedules are
You're
there.
looking at constitutional law. You're at the frontiers of debate on various aspects of law, corporate law.
Sir, that is a natural thing which happens with a civil servant, and he or she should not detract whenever or wherever she is posted. So my impression is law can help me in governing those places when I have the pre-understanding of those scenarios, of these laws. So I would enjoy with those tribes. Right now I am only reading. When I will interact with them, it may enrich my experience furthermore.
Again, another headline today says that Prime Minister would like to see that legal arguments in courts should happen in vernacular languages.
Yes, sir.
What is good that is going to come out of it, and what is bad that is going to come out of it?
From vernacular language. Sir, first thing good is that it will increase or enhance the legal access, because currently a person who is convicted or prosecuted, he or she does not know what the English language judgments are saying. So this would be the first.
Just like when Panditji reads, cites, shlokas in your wedding or in your any ceremony, none of us know what is going
Yes, sir.
on.
Yes, sir. So, sir.
But that is equally effective. We kind of feel so enchanted with listening to shlokas without having any clue.
Sir, yes.
So doesn't that bring an aura to Supreme Court arguments when people are speaking in a language where most people don't know what is going on?
Yes, sir. It is the impression that whenever lawyer argues or whenever a doctor writes a medicine,
Yes.
it looks like that he or she is taking a pride in its discipline and try to push away the other humanity. However, sir, I am agreeing with the valid proposition is that we should make the legal arena inclusive by making language inclusive, because currently we do not have that kind of technology
Would you agree with me that the credibility of all human arts lies in mysticism? The more mystic art is, or languages, or communication, or style is, the greater credibility and aura it attains. It becomes mundane once you bring it to the folklore.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
So, yes, sir, sir, that is a correct proposition to make. When there is a mystery, the sense of adventurism rises. A person tries to find out what is there inside it. Ultimately, in my view, when we are in governance, transparency and openness should be the criteria rather than hiding the information.
So minimum possible denominator.
Yes, sir. So that everyone has the
What
understanding.
Constitution says about Hindi language?
Sir,
There's a debate now about
yes, sir.
some
Article
controversy.
351 says that there should be promotion.
5-2.
5.2, sir, I stand corrected. 5.2 says that promotion of Hindi language should be there. But sir, the current debate is saying that there is, because recently Honorable Minister of Home Affairs has given the argument that there should be replacement of English by Hindi.
No, he did not say like this.
How many languages in India are official languages?
Sir, 22 languages are there.
Give me 3 foreign languages which are listed there.
3 foreign languages. Sir, I have to read upon it because I do not want to make a guess. But if you allow me to, then
One, of course, we are using right now.
yes, sir, English. English.
2 other foreign languages listed there.
Sir, 2 other foreign languages.
English is listed there, one of the official languages.
Sir, English I think is not there.
It's
sir.
not listed.
In 22nd, in the 8th schedule of the Constitution.
What are the 22?
22.
When was the last edition made in those languages?
Sir, in 2002, recently.
Even later, I think 2004 or 6.
No.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Rishabh, you just mentioned about policy somewhere in between. What is policies?
Made ka bhai. Ma'am, the definition of policy is that these are broad philosophies, the broad principles.
As in, do not give me definition.
I'll
Suppose
just-
I just want to understand in a simpler words, as in not coming from any background. So how would you make me understand what are policies?
So, sir, ma'am, I will take the illustration. There is a draft national women policy. So, how the government would approach in order to enhance the welfare, security, and equality and prosperity of women. So, policy lays down various goals a government has to achieve. If I take the another example, national health policy is there. So, there is a criteria that IMR should be achieved, MMR should be achieved. So, these are the things which are laid down broadly by the policy, which has to be implemented
But
by
then
the
there are
government
programs
officials.
also. There are national health program, this program. So then what is the difference between program and a policy?
Ma'am, policies are broad principles under which programs are formulated. So they cannot be in contradiction with each other. Sometimes it may happen that government implements a program, but does not follow the policies. So people point out the critical analysts point out that the program has to be in the conformity with policy.
So you want to say programs are a subset of policy?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. So you come from Uttar Pradesh. What is the main source of income of UP?
Ma'am, rural economy is there. So in rural economy, mostly people are employed in agriculture.
That is not his question.
Main source of
Question
income of Uttar
Main source
Pradesh.
agriculture.
Revenue.
Main source of revenue from agriculture is
No, it's GST.
I'm saying main source of income of you in UP. What is that?
She is asking about the state of UP. What is the main revenue?
budgetary revenue.
Yes. UP means UP state.
GST.
Yes, sir. So GST is there. Excise from petroleum or alcohol, potable alcohol. Is
No. That is central government.
Okay.
Sir, VAT is imposed on the.
That is there, but not excise.
Yes.
Okay, let me put down another way. Just mentioned about the rural economy is dependent on the agriculture. So in agriculture production, earlier we were a production-centric country. Now we have shifted that to a farmer-centric country. Is that so?
Yes, ma'am. In the first policy of the government was that right now we are self-sufficient in food security. However, we have left behind the concerns of farmer. Therefore, we have to double our farmer income by 2022. So, from the production-centric, there should be income-centric approach for the farmers. So, government has taken various initiatives in order to enhance the remunerative nature of the agriculture economy. So, there are various steps, if I may allow to add, just like creation of food processing parks, providing them the soil health card, connecting them with the common service center, so that the digital economy and integration of agriculture with digital economy is there. So there are various slew of measures which are provided. Even in the 2019 PM Kisan was introduced by the budget. So 6,000 rupees per year was given to farmer in
And
order
what
to
is
supplement
that scheme
income.
which gives 6,000 rupees to a farmer per year?
Yes, ma'am.
Under some scheme does it come?
PM Kisan Yojana.
PM Kisan Yojana. What are other parameters of PM Kisan Yojana?
Ma'am, there was a parameter of land size. Right now it has been removed gradually because there was the issue which was arising of the identification of farmers. So the government has removed this criteria of land.
Okay, thank you.
Rishabh, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you feeling?
Sir, I am feeling fine, sir.
Do you need some water?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. I'm giving you a quote. Please give your opinion. Yes or no. What cannot be done directly should not be done indirectly. What is your opinion on this?
Should I take time, sir? Yes. Sir, it is a quote little bit colorable exercise of power.
What is your opinion
which
about
means,
it?
if I may take the illustration, that if you cannot enter through this door, you cannot enter through another door. So if I may take the illustration, that a taxation has not to be levied on another person.
Rishabh, do you agree with the statement or you do not agree with the statement?
First thing, sir, I agree with this statement because it is one of the fundamental.
You agree with the
principles in-
statement? So I would like to know, sir, excuse me. So I would like to know here the constitutional legality of the abrogation of Article 370 in the light of this statement which you agreed just now.
Yes, sir. This is one of the argument which has been raised in the reorganization of the when the petition has been instituted in the Supreme Court to challenge the reorganization. Because if I may take the argument with respect to constitutional the legalism which has been employed through the notification of abrogation, there was the absence of legislature there. So the parliament has, through the exercise of Article 370 Clause 3, has replaced the legislature as governor. So it is saying that this is the colorable exercise of power, because you cannot replace the legislature there through the naming of the governor just because legislature is not there.
So you think it was done in an inappropriate way?
Sir, if I may say, in my personal view, the means to abrogate the Article 370 was not legal enough. It is not satisfying the higher bar of legality. If I may have to argue from the side of...
I told
Years
you
now.
you are not a civil servant material. I'm sorry.
So it's been years now. What you are saying just now, not said by the Supreme Court till date. It should have, if it's so simple to say so. Why
So
not?
there are various arguments. This is one of the arguments which is advanced by the petitioners, who are challenging the legality of the means which has been adopted by
So
the...
is it still in the Supreme Court, the case?
Sir, case is in the Supreme Court, but no bench has still yet been constituted. Sir, this is the sorry position of the Supreme Court, that they should not do it, because these are the matters of constitutional importance.
Please.
Okay, no problem.
You cannot
Let's-
use expressions like sorry state of Supreme Court.
This you should not use.
Yes,
That's
sir,
what I'm saying. In your mental aptitude, you are very different. You're a scholarly activist person. You have to sit there as a civil servant and be careful of what you're saying.
You will implement laws. That was correct, but not.
No problem.
Think of yourself as civil servant.
What
now.
you did was like PIL for rehabilitation of the people
Yes.
in Jodhpur.
Yes.
So will you do the same if given an opportunity for the people or refugees in the Assam? Will you do that for the same PIL for those people?
Of Assam, sir.
For refugees in Assam, will you do that if given an opportunity?
Sir, there are various variable factors are there. I have to take into account, because sir, it is said by the people there, which is reported in the newspaper, that it is creating cultural and social tensions because of the slow changing of the demographic character.
So as a lawyer, will you
So-
take stand for those people,
because-
refugees?
Yes, sir. I would take, because sir, right to life and livelihood is the fundamental principle which a civil servant cannot deny. However, on the larger scale, in the longer time frame,
So why India is not the part of UN Convention on Refugees? If we're on the humanitarian ground, you are saying so. India is not the part of the... Is India a party?
sir, India
It's
is
not-
not a party, not even
Why?
a signatory, sir. Sir, India has taken a principled stand that though sir, there is no even law around refugees, not even a policy, but India has some reservations with UNHRC or the Refugee Convention that we are already following, and India as a
Let's
country
take a
has
simple
good track
situation.
record.
Let's take a simple situation. You are fighting for the rehabilitation of the people in Assam. Government is conducting NRC, right? And the people obviously who are not the part of NRC, they will be refugees. They will be at the end refugees, and you want rehabilitation for those people. So what?
These are contradictory.
Yes, that is contradictory.
sir,
and
if
what's your
appar-
opinion as a lawyer?
Yes, sir. Apparently, sir, it may look that
What is your opinion as a lawyer, and what will be your action as an administrator? Give me two different point of views.
Sir, I will try to reconcile both the positions, sir. That as a lawyer, my fundamental principle would be to safeguard their right to life. And even as a civil servant, my fundamental principle would be the same, because ultimately we...
So if given a chance to conduct the NRC in India, you will not do it?
So I would do it, but sir, it may seem that it is a
As
contradictory...
an administrator, if you will be given in a position to conduct NRC in India, in any region you are holding a position as a DM, let us suppose. So will you support it or you will be against it?
Sir, I would support it because it has been a legal mandate.
But
I
your
can-
personal beliefs are against it?
No, sir. I have not brought it out, sir, my personal belief. And even though it may seem apparently or prima facie that I am against it, I am not. Reason being, I do not find any contradictions in it. Because NRC talks about the detection and deportation of illegal migrants. As far as the refugees status is concerned, a country, whenever declare refugee, it has given certain kind of consideration to those refugees. So whenever I am filing the PIL in the court, I am beseeching the court to give certain kinds of livelihood. If-
One thing, just interruption. This fundamental right, all other things, it applies to whom? it applies to the Indian citizen or any refugee, any Tom, Dick, Harry coming from any part of the country. Will our rule of this constitutional freedom or constitutional guarantee given, does it apply to any person other than the Indian citizen?
Sir, sir, if you may allow me to take one of the assistants from the case law, there was a case of Rohingya refugees. So the Supreme Court has given every person has right to livelihood and life in India. However, if they pose national security concerns, then there is a restriction, a reasonable restriction can be imposed on that person. He cannot or she cannot be allowed to move freely and try to liaison with the anti-Indian forces outside India.
No,
But will he enjoy the same thing which a normal Indian citizen enjoy in this country? My question to you is this.
No,
you
sir.
should simply answer. There are some fundamental rights which are applicable to Indian citizens, the other for everybody who is in India.
So the first principle is there is a substantial difference and material difference between refugee and a citizen. Citizen enjoys various rights through our constitutional and legal means. However, refugee.
Is there any right given under the constitutions to any refugees?
Sir, it talks about the rights to persons. So within the meaning of person, refugees are allowed. So the Article 21 says, no person shall be deprived of his life and personal liberty except according to the procedure established by law. This is, sir, is also pointing out.
Now, let me intervene here.
Yes.
Difficulty here, which most debates have, is the basic principle of law is that I will be innocent until proven guilty. Now, here we are turning this argument upside down, saying I am guilty until I prove myself to be innocent. And that is the problem with the NRC and CAA. And you will find it very difficult to answer such questions because heart of heart, I'm sorry to say, you're an excellent, brilliant scholar, but you will need a very powerful, bold board to give you great score to get you into civil service, because when you make a little slip, you showcase who you are.
No problem, Rishabh. Just one last question from my end to you. What is your opinion on All India Judicial Services? Should it be conducted as All India level or not?
Sir, it should be conducted. Sir, if I may give the reasons.
Yes, just 2 reasons, please.
2 reasons. Sir, procedurally it happens that there are many judicial exams conducted across India. And people from various corners of India find very difficult to reach to appear in different exams.
And
So
second point?
So the second point is, it would be in a direction to integrate India, just like All India services. So it will serve the purpose of unity and integrity of India.
Thank you so much, Rishabh. Sir.
The first point you should say, if All India Judicial Service made, then it will expedite disposal because new blood will come into the judiciary. The old judicial officers, taking a lot of time. So you have done very well, Rishabh,
Thank you, sir.
and very thorough on law. But then I will advise you, I have already told you many points like Article 370. You just say, within the Article 370 itself says the President can
De-operationalize.
then can by notification. So that is the thing. And then to be on safer side, they have amended another article which also empowers President. So this was missed by everybody. Had it been passed by Parliament, this Article 370, then it would have been a different case. Just to be overconfident, did not pass it through. So Article 370 was nobody was witnessing this.
I think in case of confusion, you have to first of all train yourself to talk like a civil servant. Think of it seriously. There are 3 organs of government: judiciary, executive and legislature. Within them, again, hierarchy says national legislature is supreme. Even if judicial review does something, national legislature can undo that judgment.
Yes.
That means the laws passed by national legislature represent ultimate wisdom of this country.
Yes.
And therefore, if there are laws which are approved by the national legislature, they will have to be implemented.
Yes.
So in your mind, don't begin to think of questioning those things. Because as a civil servant, your task will be to implement
Yes.
laws and policies and things that national representatives are determining for you.
Yes.
Your difficulty is you begin to think like a lawyer.
When you said sorry state for Supreme Court, that
It
was
was
something which was
informal,
not
sir.
right. This is your strength also. This can be your weakness also in future.
Overall, it was fine.
It was very nice.
Appearance is okay.
Thank you.
Very nice asset.